Welcome back everybody to the channel and to Pokémon Champions. Today we have the first adaptation of the Mawile team of the channel. Oh, I worked really hard on this team. I even got some inspiration here and there that was offered from you guys on my Twitch chat. So if you wanna join to talk about Pokémon Champions and other games, all the links are in the description for our streamings, where we play Pokémon Champions and some other games. But now, let's go over the new and improved Mawile team that I came up with. There it is! Oh, you may notice some differences. First of all, I wanna proudly announce that we are bringing double primals back in 2026. Oh, there we go. We have Politoed, Torkoal as a double weather setup. Now, I wanna preface that the team that got me inspired in doing this is a team that you guys suggested me in my Twitch chat. It's Seba's team. I tried this team in testing and I really liked it. However, there were some aspects that I wanted to change. One of the first changes is the secondary Mega Evolution being Abomasnow. Abomasnow is very good, but I felt like it could be more flexible. So I decided to put Venusaur Politoed instead of Abomasnow Basculegion. But let's go over every member slowly. First of all, the star of the team, Mawile. The spread is the exact same. However, you may notice that some moves are changed. We have Swords Dance over Protect and Rock Slide over Iron Head. Let's go in order. Why Iron Head is not present? Well, that's because the threats you wanna hit with Iron Head or with Steel type moves are tendentially either covered by an already very powerful play half or the rest of the team. So if you wanna hit a Rock type, well, the Rock type right now is tendentially tighter. And if it's any other Rock type, you have Politoed, you have Incineroar, you are going to see in a minute. You have Venusaur, so you are not worried about other rock types. So, yeah, if Floette or Sylveon are on the opposing side of the field, you don't have a problem without Iron Head because Sylveon is not very bulky physically, so one play half is going to be more than enough tendentially. If it's not, it's because it's very bulky behind screens. But it's enough to make it go in the head. It's a very powerful move. So yeah. And Floette will set up the Fairy Aura for you. So to resist, a Floette has to be very bulky and has to basically give up spreads that make Floette. So it has to be a very slow, calm mind Floette behind screens. But one play half is going to be very much enough to basically demolish most Floettes. Thanks to their own Fairy Aura. Them Mega Evolving Floette is an help for us. It's an help for you. Because Fairy Aura also counts for your moves. Why Rock Slide? Well, this is a Mawile that checks Charizard on its own. There's no single Charizard that resists huge power Rock Slide. And if it exists, it has, again, to give up all the reasons why Charizard is Charizard. So basically it has to be very slow, not very offensive, very bulky defensively, and very high in HP. If it exists. But if it exists, is it really Charizard anymore at this point? So, yeah, this Rock Slide at +0 is enough to one-shot all Charizards and is enough to take out most Aerodactyls or other flying types such as even Pelipper. And in general, it's a very good spread move. If you notice, one common thing that most high usage teams have in common, especially their damage dealers, is that they have a way to attack all Pokémon on the opposing side of the field. Charizard has Heat Wave, Floette has Dazzling Gleam, Swampert has Earthquake, and so on and so on and so on. For a variety of reasons that is good, you spread damage on both the sides of the field, and if they have a redirector, well, you don't care, you still hit what you want. So, Mawile with the previous set was kind of a single target Pokemon. The moment Sinistra enters, you are losing the target you actually wanted to hit. With Rock Slide, you heavily damage Sinistra, and your partner Pokemon is usually going to be enough to take out the rest of the Sinistra. And you still hit the Pokemon you actually wanted to hit. So yeah. Swords Dance. Now, Swords Dance, I said in my previous video that I wasn't feeling ready. Well, I got proven wrong. Swords Dance is amazing. Under Trick Room, people are going to tendentially play the defensive game, the stall game. They're going to stall, they're going to protect a lot, they're going to make a lot of defensive switch-ins, especially with Intimidates. With Swords Dance, stalling out the Trick Room is going to be a lot harder. If the opponent protects both of their Pokemon in order to stall your turns of Trick Room, and if you read it right, you click Swords Dance, and at that point, it's much harder to stall the Trick Room. If they start trying to intimidate you, Swords Dance, you compensate, and they are going to have to maneuver much more in order to keep Mawile in check. In the meantime, you can just click damage on everything that remains. So, Swords Dance is a very high pressure move against this defensive playstyle. I got proven wrong. It's an amazing tool. It's extra pressure on the opponent. And then you have Sucker Punch. You will still need Sucker Punch in this Pokemon. Because if you're out of Trick Room, you want to attack the opposing Pokemon before they attack you. It's the difference between victory or defeat. Also, Base Mawile, this Base Mawile still has Hyper Cutter, but after you Mega Evolve, you lose Hyper Cutter, so you're quick to intimidate. Again, Swords Dance. So, I really like this Mawile set for this current format. It's very offensive, it applies a lot of pressure on the opponents, so I really enjoyed it. Second, let's address the Incineroar in the room. Thank you again for the anonymous person that gave me Incineroar. Muscle Band Incineroar, max attack with close combat. I looked a lot around to have a Pokemon that could help set up Trick Room with Fake Out, and also deal a lot of damage without having to switch in and out, and risking that Mawile enters in a very powerful attacking move. Here comes Incineroar. I tried Kangaskhan, Silk Scarf, Kangaskhan. The problem with that is that if the opponent has Sarina, or Farigiraf, or Psychic Terrain when it will get introduced, you will have to click Fake Out in order to have Last Resort. Basically, you gotta waste a turn just to then use Last Resort. I didn't like that. Muscle Band Incineroar gives much more flexibility on that. If the opponent leads with King Gambit, even if you trigger Defiant, close combat is going to be more than enough. Now, in testing I met a lot of Choppleberry or Sash King Gambits. But it was only on testing. On the ladder, I didn't meet that many, because a lot of people are trying Black Glasses King Gambit for extra damage. It's very difficult, at least it has been very difficult to find a Choppleberry or defensive item King Gambit. They all kinda got one-shotted. They all kinda got one-shotted by this Incineroar in one way or another. However, if you don't feel safe, if you don't know, you can simply fake them out. You can simply fake out King Gambit. If you cannot, you can protect your own Farigiraf and attack it. Granted, some even if some King Gambits are faster, it's very difficult, but it can happen. You can still play defensively with your Farigiraf. In any way, you can switch it out, you can help with the damage, but tendentially, you wanna keep Farigiraf safe from King Gambit. If you don't feel safe leading Farigiraf Incineroar, sorry, against a possible King Gambit or Milotic, you can lead Farigiraf Venusaur as well and click Sleep Powder. It's fine as well. So yeah, but the lead tendentially, this Incineroar tendentially works very well against King Gambit. Now, at -1 under the sun, so if you switch in Torkoal, this Incineroar will one-shot a lot of Pokemon that you may not expect. Even at -1 it will deal a lot of damage to those. Grimmsnarl goes down very easily. Floette, Mega Floette, goes down very easily because it's not very physically bulky and you are attacking under the sun. So, yeah, this Incineroar is a menace. I really like this Incineroar. Plus, it has Throat Chop. One of the ways that people have to stop Trick Room is to have Roar. If you click Throat Chop, Roar is a negative priority move at -6, but is higher than Trick Room. Trick Room is -7. But Throat Chop will attack before Roar, so you can stop Roar from happening, because you will stop all sound moves. It's an amazing counter to those. And if they have Imprison, all Pokemon with Imprison tendentially are weak to Incineroar. So Throat Chop, Flare Blitz in case of Sinistra. So you have ways to counter the counters of Trick Room Farigiraf. Very good. I really like this. Next up, Politoed. Politoed has the Life Orb. Now, in a setup like this, you will see Life Orb on Incineroar, but I wanted to keep Incineroar's HP as safe as possible, okay, as high as possible still, because it's still Incineroar. Without investment in the defenses, it's still very bulky. And you can switch it in and out regardless. So, yeah, I decided to give the Life Orb to another Pokemon, and I decided to give it to this very offensive, slow Trick Room Sweeper Politoed. This Pokemon deals a lot of damage, okay? Now, Weather Ball already deals a lot of damage, and Ice Beam already deals a lot of damage. They both deal a lot of damage to all the Pokemon they are meant to hit. Then why Life Orb? Because Life Orb changes the calculations on Archaludon. Close Combat Incineroar, Earth Power Politoed, Earth Power on Venusaur are all ways to deal with Archaludon, because Archaludon is an issue for Mawile, because, of course, of stamina. So you wanna hit Archaludon as much as possible with super effective moves. And Life Orb Politoed has saved me multiple times. You know that Archaludon is that one Pokemon that at 50% resists at 10%, and it has leftovers, spam protect, spams damage, and in 2 turns it's already at max HP again. Well, this extra damage from the Life Orb will ensure that those HP from Archaludon, sorry, are going to be taken away from it. So I really like this Politoed. Plus, it's Politoed. It's also a very bulky Pokemon, so it won't go down easily in one hit. I really like this Politoed. It deals a lot of damage, a lot of surprise damage, and it saves a lot of situations. Plus, it's good against Mega Dragonite trains. Yes, I met Mega Dragonite. Yes, but it will do very consistent damage with Ice Beam. So, of course, it has Drizzle. And yeah, I really like it. Next up is Farigiraf. This is, again, a new way, another way to play Farigiraf. Again, inspired by the Sebas team. Very bulky, and also very offensive. This furry giraffe is a monster, okay? Everything that's not King Gambit or Cleavor, because yes, Cleavor is getting some usage, so be very careful from that. Even Shizor with Bug Bite and Technician. Be very careful from those. But aside from that, dude, this furry giraffe resisted a lot of hits, and then it has Citrus Berry to come back up. Plus, it has Twin Beam. Twin Beam is the superior psychic type move on furry giraffe, and the reason is, if you meet Focus Sash Sneasler, yes, some people are still running that for coaching shenanigans, or any psychic type, for example, Focus Sash, Venusaur, though Venusaur can resist a couple of hits even if it's bulkless, this Pokemon will bypass the Focus Sash. Okay? There's no reason not to run Twin Beam, and there's also no reason not to run Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt helps very much against Pelipper. It will one-shot Pelipper if they're not Focus Sash. They're usually Focus Sash, but you may have already faked out Pelipper one time at least in order to break the Sash. It's very good against Charizard, it's very good against Aerodactyl, it's very good against Talonflame, it's very good against other water types that are not called Swampert, so like Milotic. So it's very good coverage overall. It's also very good against King Gambit because you can hit it with Thunderbolt and because it's not resisted or immune like Twin Beam. So Thunderbolt is just an amazing coverage to have, and then you have Protect and of course Armor Tail. So yeah, bulky but damaging furry giraffe, very good. Then you have Torkoal. It's Torkoal. Nothing to say here, it's Torkoal. We like Torkoal. Powerful Trick Room Sweeper. And also enables Venusaur. Now, the second Mega Evolution for this team. Venusaur. Venusaur is very good. Now, it has no speed investment and is all in bulk because it's, of course, thought to be also when it's Mega Evolved. Mega Venusaur is very good. It's the reason why it has Giga Drain. Under the Rain, Mega Charizard Y and Thick Fat, basically this Pokemon is like 3-hit KO from Mega Charizard under the Rain. It's insane. However, if they Mega Evolve Charizard Y in front of Venusaur and you didn't Mega Evolve, they're just setting up the sun for you and you're just clicking Sleep Powder there. I don't know why they would do that, but people did that to me and they got, they basically, yeah, they didn't end well. So yeah, even without speed investment, this Pokemon is able to outspeed the wide majority of Pokemon of the meta. So you tendentially don't need, at least in this team, to have a very fast Venusaur. And bulky Mega Venusaur, for example, against Mega Frostlass, you are 2-hit KO from Blizzard. Yep, 2-hit KO from Blizzard. Meanwhile, you are guaranteed 1-hit KO with Torkoal, or Sucker Punch outside of Snow, or Throat Chop. Very good. So the reason why I like Venusaur so much is because it's very flexible. Because one of the leads of this team that may be good is Torkoal Venusaur and then having the back Furry Giraffe and Mawile, or Furry Giraffe Incineroar, or Furry Giraffe Politoed. And then have Mega Evolve Venusaur if you didn't bring Mawile. But you don't need to Mega Evolve Venusaur when you bring it, because you may have Mawile in the back. And that's why I like this Venusaur so much. It's not tied to be the Mega Evolution, it's not tied to be fastest, because you, without speed investment you can play this Pokemon even under the Trick Room, because it's going to be slower than tendentially all Pokemon outside of the sun. So it's very good. And if you need to Mega Evolve it, it's typically against Rain. The reason why Venusaur is here, it's because he's also very good against Rain. Against Swampert, you click Giga Drain. Against Archaludon, you click Earth Power. Against the rest, you either have Sleep Powder or Giga Drain or whatever you need. And if they happen to bring a powerful Steel type not named Archaludon, so Metagross or Aegislash, you can bring Torkoal. So yeah, I really like this Venusaur. Like, you can sleep around, set up Trick Room, and then have Mega Mawile enter in and sweep. And even better if you have Torkoal as your fort. Like, if you have Farigiraf, Venusaur, Torkoal, Mawile, you can bring... you can set up Trick Room with... by sleeping all the threats with Venusaur, switch in Mawile, start spamming damage, start clicking damage, and in the end, even if you have Torkoal already on the field, you switch in Venusaur, Trick Room ends, you have this very fast Pokémon going around, spamming damage, meanwhile Torkoal spams Heat Wave. It's very flexible. And if you need it, you can Mega Evolve it. So, this is one of the plans. Now let's start talking about the game plans. Against Rain, as I said, Farigiraf, Venusaur, Farigiraf Incineroar, Farigiraf, Torkoal to remove the Rain, because it's not like Sand, Pelipper cannot Mega Evolve to put the Rain again. You tendentially wanna bring Venusaur, okay? And put it under Trick Room, and have it be a very bulky, impossible to take down, Sleep Powder, Earth Power, Giga Drain spammer. It is very good. I thought about Leech Seed, but I prefer Giga Drain. It's much more proactive, and it's also more flexible. The keyword here I was searching for this team is flexibility. Okay? Flexibility. So, you have Farigiraf, Venusaur, you stay there under the Trick Room, you take out Swampert, you deal a lot of damage to Archaludon, you switch the weather with Torkoal, especially if they have a very powerful Steel type. You may bring Politoed against Rain, especially if they have something like Mega Dragonite, or you can bring Incineroar, okay? You can bring Incineroar to deal a lot of damage with Close Combat or Throat Chop or whatever. Against everything else that's not Rain, you tendentially wanna lead always to play with Mawile. The typical lead is Incineroar, Farigiraf. In case of King Gambit, if you really don't feel sure, you can fake out King Gambit if you can, if there's no Farigiraf in sight, if there's not Sarina in sight. If you can't, you can just protect Farigiraf and deal with that threat with Incineroar or whatever is in the back. But tendentially you wanna bring Incineroar, Farigiraf, Mawile, and another Pokémon that is either Politoed or Torkoal. Sometimes you may be required to bring Venusaur, but it's very rare. And it's also rare that you may need to bring both Politoed and Torkoal. In that case, such is the case of Double Primal, you need to position very carefully to not allow your weathers to step on each other's foot. But sometimes you can also take it on your advantage. If you happen to wanna take out one Incineroar with your Torkoal, and it's very important that you do that in that turn, you can, and you have double Primal, you have double weather, you switch in Politoed, Torkoal's Weather Ball becomes a water type, and you one-shot Incineroar. It's a very funny thing. And so is the other way around. If you really need to hit, I don't know, a Metagross with a fire type move, but you are switching in Torkoal, you are put in the sun, Politoed will hit for fire type damage. It's very fun. It's a very fun interaction. Kinda rare, but if it happens, please be very careful. Okay? So tendentially the lead is those. Against Sand, and by Sand I mean Titar, Excadrill, Houndstone, it's not really an issue, because you still wanna bring Incineroar, Farigiraf, fake out a threat, then you have Mawile, Politoed in the back, dealing damage, super effective damage to the wide majority of their Pokémon. Even if they bring Megastaraptor, even at +1, they really suffer from play half from Mega Mawile. And in case of Houndstone, you have Sucker Punch. So yeah, granted, careful with Houndstone. It's much more bulkier than it lets be known, but still, Sucker Punch is very good. So overall, yeah, that's how you deal with Rain. Against Charizard, against Sun, well, it's very easy. Farigiraf Incineroar, you have Mawile with Rock Slide, and then you bring Politoed. And if they have a powerful Steel type on the opposing team, you bring Torkoal over Politoed. Like, you will hear me say this a lot, if they have a strong Steel type. Because, of course, with Mawile, you can't really deal with the majority of Steel types. You can Sucker Punch Metagross and deal a lot of damage. And you also have Incineroar that can deal with other Steel types. But sometimes a good Trick Room Sun Boosted Eruption is the solution to all of your problems. Okay? So yeah, this is how you deal with the 3 weathers that are around the meta. Okay? And it's tendentially how you deal with the majority of teams. Politoed, Incineroar, Farigiraf is the typical lead with behind Mawile, and then a 4th Pokemon depending on the matchup. It's how you may match up against the wide majority of teams. Of course, you gotta be very careful with super effective moves against Farigiraf, preventing them from setting up Trick Room. And you also gotta be very careful from the random taunts people may have in their team. This team is thought to be in best of 3, okay? I think the wide majority of my teams has a best of 3 team. But people on the Champions ladder tendentially don't. So you may match up against Taunt Aerodactyl, Taunt Frostlass, Taunt Annihilape. So if it's Aerodactyl, you can fake it out. Against the rest, you gotta play very differently. I did think of Mental Herb, but Mental Herb for such a niche scenario compared to the overall usefulness of Citrus Berry wasn't really worth it. I'd much rather play this much differently with Incineroar, for example. You switch out Farigiraf to prevent the taunt. Like, you can just protect and scout the taunt and start damaging the Pokemon you think it may have taunt. You can switch it out for a Torkoal, for example, or a Politoed, and still manage to deal a lot of damage to the taunt threat until you are safe to set up Trick Room. Granted, it's not all lost instantly if you don't set up Trick Room, but it's going to be much more difficult. So, this is overall the explanation of the team. To close it off, this is the Replica code. Please feel free to use this team. Let me know in the comments if you are enjoying it. Let me know in the comments what you think about this team. Let me know if you like it, because I am really enjoying it. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to reach an higher position this season because stuff. I couldn't play. I couldn't play as much ranked as I wanted. But next season, I wanna break my record of reaching the highest point with. My highest point is 17,000. I wanna break the record and possibly go for first place. But aside from that, let me know in the comments what you think about this team. Let me know in the comments if you like it. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this team, most importantly. Please enjoy playing with this team. Is very good. It's a much more aggressive approach against this meta. It breaks through teams very nicely and is very flexible against, again, Torkoal Venusaur, with this Venusaur being fast or a Mega Evolution if you're Rain. You have still Mawile in the back sometimes. Like, I very much like how this team came out. I feel very nice about this. So, let me know in the comments what you think. These are the stats. Let me know in the comments what you think about this team. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.